Well, hi people. Welcome to our gathering. We're in the summer solstice. Welcome to a softer shade of pale. We're going to have a good journey today, and we're going to celebrate the Going to the Sun Trail on this summer solstice. It's a season of festival and celebration. So come together, all you gathering tribes of all you different nations, and we're here to give celebration. And we'll sing and dance along. And we will begin with some really cool invitations and announcements. And in this invitation, here in the local, right here in River City, Iowa City, the heart of the heartland, there's going to be the first of its kind, will be called the Prairie Land Music Fest. It will be at the Johnson County Fairgrounds Friday, June 24th, Saturday, June 25th, and Sunday, June 26th. It's going to be drumming, Celtic dancing, Celtic music, food vendors, celebration. So what we're talking about here is group drumming, where anybody can just jump in. There'll be fire circles. You can sit around the campfire. There'll be 3 days of celebration of the sun, and nothing but good and energy and good fun at the Johnson County Fairgrounds, a place that seems to birth deep things. If you want to know, sometimes if it's at the Johnson County Fairground, it's like the seal of good housekeeping. So please, people, if the heart moves and the spirit moves you, come on out to the Johnson County Fairground Friday. It'll be until till 10 p.m., something like that, all day Saturday, and then Sunday till afternoon. And it's a time to gather, people, from wherever we're at, and whichever star that you are, be here now, actually live here now at the Johnson County Fairgrounds. This is coming up Friday, June 25th, 26th, Friday, June 24th, Saturday, June 25th, Sunday, June 26th. It's kind of like, a little Iowa Country Fair. It's not as into the wild Oregon as the Oregon Country Fair, but it's halfway there. You could call it the little portion of the Iowa Country Fair. And dear friends, we are moving gently, slowly toward the Iowa Country Fair with the announcement that came out of the Des Moines Register in today, June 22nd, Wednesday. That's today, June 22nd. And if you can see, it says, "Are Democrats giving drugs a green light?" So basically, at the Iowa Democratic Party's convention, they had one of their platforms, number 293, is a plank that says the Iowa Democrats support legalizing all drugs, and it's about treating and mitigating addiction rather than criminalizing it. So it was influenced by nurses in the medical community, and the attitude is treating and mitigating addiction rather than criminalizing it. A whole new attitude with some gratitude and latitude, so we'll reach altitude and grace instead of penalizing and criminalizing. Okay, so this is the lighter hand of grace rising up to greet us. These are announcements time, and sometimes it takes a little time to go through our announcements because there's some levitation in the gravitas. We've had a lot of gravitas, but now we have some levitation in our GreenFire nation. That's I, Magi Nation, dear friends, or inspiration come together with creativity is imagination. I, Magi Nation. That's our GreenFire nation. Some really, really jaw-dropping news came out of California yesterday. forever and ever and ever and then some and evermore. The Diablo Canyon nuclear power plant, there's 2 of them sitting on a earthquake fault, on the San Andreas Fault in California. People have been trying to shut that nuclear power plant down forever and ever and ever. And hats off to all of you who've been on that journey, because we're all on that journey. But yesterday, the Pacific Gas and Electric came through with a jaw-dropping announcement, along with Friends of the Earth. Friends of the Earth was started by David Brower. And David Brower is considered the arch-druid of the environmental movement. He did some wonderful things in the Sierra Club, and then he founded Friends of the Earth, which was specifically to shut down the Diablo Canyon nuclear power plant. That's what the Friends of the Earth was for. And that was like 30 years ago. So we're talking 30 years of, grassroots peace activists, environmentalists, church people, teachers, students, people of all ilk who have come together to form a grassroots and saying, we don't really need nuclear power here on an earthquake fault on the Diablo Canyon. It's like right near the coast, and if you have a 5.6 earthquake and it goes through that nuclear power plant, well, kiss Southern California kind of goodbye. So it's been a concern for many people, millions of Californians for sure, and millions of others around the earth. Well, yesterday, jaw-dropping news, Pacific Gas and Electric gets in front of the cameras in a press conference, along with Friends of the Earth who worked with them, and announced that the Diablo Canyon nuclear power plant will cease operations by 2023 and 2024. That's today. This is 2016, so that's 7 to 8 years from now. Sure, that's a long lag time, and we want them to shut it down today. But just the announcement that they're ceasing operations, they're shutting 2 nuke plants at the Diablo Canyon down. Diablo Canyon is going to be shut down by 2023 is just earth-shaking, jaw-dropping good news. Hallelujah and all of the above. Whichever way you want to celebrate, take this to your heart and embrace a friend and love one another, that together we can accomplish and move mountains, the mountains of nuclear refusal and nuclear power plant intransigence. We can move those mountains, and those mountains can dissolve and melt before our very, very midst. Here's an example of it. One of the most fought over, probably the most fought over nuclear power plant in the entire country, and it's going down, down, down. And the people are rising on the winds of change. The winds of change, the people are rising, dear friends, and this is part of the winds of change that we're covering today. Our spirit today is kenosis, openness mind, emptying winds. Dear friends, this is part of the emptying winds of this time. And Diablo Canyon, the reason they said they're closing, the Pacific Gas and Electric said they're closing Diablo Canyon, very simply, that renewable energy, whether it's solar, wind, biomass, or other forms of renewable energy, that's called sustainable energy, renewable, is cheaper than nuclear power. This is a tipping point. This is a paradigm shift, a tipping point. This is the tipping point. A paradigm shift, the tipping point, where renewable and sustainable energy is now cheaper to produce than nuclear power. This is huge on the mind map of the American psyche. So from this day forward, down, the nukes are considered obsolete. They're going to go down, down, down as the price of renewable energy, wind power, solar, in different forms, and also biomass and geothermal is replacing, as far as economics, the basis is economics. It's cheaper to produce solar energy, wind power, sustainable energy than it is to produce nuclear energy. So on that basis, the basis of economics, it's more economical to produce energy with solar and renewable energy than it is with nuclear power. So this is the beginning of the end for nuclear power in America. Diablo Canyon, it means the Devil's Canyon. You can imagine a metaphor how appropriate that Diablo Canyon would have 2 nuclear plants in it. It's the devil's playground, right? Sitting on top of that, sitting on a fault, an earthquake fault, San Andreas, okay? Hovering over 30 million megalopolis in Southern California. You kind of, yeah, so that's like, so we begin to appreciate and understand with some gratitude in the latitude and the attitude, we're having some gratitude here. This is straight up amazing grace. This is like unbelievable. No one would ever have believed that we'd have heard this news in our time. It's kind of like the falling of the Berlin Wall, right? Well, this is the falling of the Berlin nuclear wall. This is 1989 all over again. So what the implications are is California will have no nuclear nuke plants in California. Zero, none, zilch, nada nuclear power plants, nuke plants in California. California is the 6th largest economy on earth. Not just this 6th in this country, but 6th largest economy on earth. That means probably U.S., Germany, maybe France, a few others, or very few other countries have a larger economy than California. So kudos, congratulations, all power to the people, literally, in California and across this great, big, beautiful land. We can really, this is one that we've worked long and hard for, all you nuclear activists out there, and including myself, and many who are coming into Iowa City to scatter good. That's another announcement, who are walked across the entire country, many from California, on the Great Peace March for global nuclear disarmament. And nuclear disarmament, one form is the shutting down of nuclear power plants. That's one form of nuclear disarmament. So it's another step along the road for total global nuclear disarmament. So that's brought to you by the Great Peace March and many others who've done this work, and those who walk before us in the forests of the deep on that inertia and dark Lord time of the nuclear age. It's one more step out of the nuclear age. The implications go beyond this as well. We can name names. Well, we'll name them next week. We're going to meet some people next week. And that is, we're moving out of the nuclear age, the dark Lord and the dark time of one of the nine hells of the ninth hell of the nuclear age. And in that, there was a term. It's always kind of spiffy to have zippy terms. Somebody created this term called King Kong. Now there's a new movement called Leave It in the Ground. But the foregrounding of Leave It in the Ground is this King Kong. King Kong is coal, oil, nuclear, and gas. And it's time for King Kong to go as obsolete energy, form of energy, fossil, hydrocarbon, fuel, and nuclear. So King Kong, this is a great big footprint of King Kong gone. His footprint is going now into the La Brea tar pits, back into that Precambrian time in which he was born. We're talking way back like 2 billion years ago. And King Kong no longer has the power that he had before with the Diablo Canyon dissolving and dissipating. King Kong's one of the major power sources of King Kong. Remember, Kong is coal, oil, nuclear, and gas. That is going the way of the dodo bird, is considered obsolete in its time. So in that sense, that is one of the great unintended but welcome real parts of the sixth extinction. So if we can shapeshift the sixth extinction to those things we want to see go extinct, we can name 4 of them: coal, oil, nuclear, and gas. Could we name the other 2? Could it be nuclear weapons and nuclear research, nuclear weapons and nuclear research? Could that be one of the 6 extinctions? Is that okay? And you fill in the blank for the other missing piece for your own 6 extinction you want to see go. That may be climate change, which you can actually participate in to shift, right? So this actually helps shift the balance toward the balance and overcoming climate change as well, that the perception is right? Because the implications of nuclear power behind that are nuclear weapons, which is the military. Well, one of the great polluters of coal, oil, and gas is the military. That's what 25% of the pollutants in this country are borne by the military. You, the taxpayer, is paying for that. So if you see the subtle shift with this ending of the nuclear age, at least the beginning of it with the Diablo Canyon, the subtle shift is to less global warming. So in that sense, we'll move on to another announcement, but this is a key announcement, not only for today, which is summer solstice, but also for the beginning of the new solar year, the turning of the solar wheel. And we'll get into the implications of that more, but we have to have some celebrations along the way to brighten our road, lighten our load and brighten our road. This one is definitely a brightening of our road and a lightening of our load. We can handle a lot. We can handle lightning, dear friends. In fact, we are lightning. And with that empowerment that the people, we the people, the power of the people can transform even the darkest night into a bright day, is the beginning of restoration of the power of the people and the internal sovereignty. Each one teach one, each one reach one. This is each person saying to another, we can empower ourselves. And another person says, we can empower ourselves. This is a voice of self-empowerment for the collective. Or would you like to use another term? For the commons, okay? So in that sense, we are beginning to begin. I hope. Another announcement today is the coming into Iowa City, coming in from the cold after 10 years of renewal of a reunion. The Great Peace March reunion, coming in from the cold, and we're talking about the nuclear age, dear friends. These people are all luminaries who had the vision in 1986. This is the 30th anniversary of the Great Peace March. This will be the 30th anniversary reunion, coming right into River City here. That's beginning next Tuesday, which the night in which you'll be viewing this, on GreenFire. Welcome to Iowa City in the heartland. Welcome to Scattergood, all you members of the Great Peace March 30th reunion. All of you great beings of light who trekked down the road and went for a little walk from Santa Monica, 9 months long, across Rainbow Basin, across this beloved entire Americua, to New York City, to Baltimore, to D.C. and Philadelphia and all cities in between, Chicago and Denver and all of these great cities, as well as out into the country in Indiana and Utah, some of the spirit walkers out there, out to the nuclear test site in Las Vegas. 9 long months of a trek called the Great Peace March for global nuclear disarmament. is honoring us and gracing us with their presence June 28th to July 3rd at Scattergood. This is a high summer solstice celebration of the highest intention of not only this nation, but the entire planet. People from all over this country, United America, and also from other continents are coming in and will be in residence for the high summer solstice celebration from June 28th to July 3rd. This is a most auspicious event, dear friends. When this kind of high light and radiance energy comes together, please make your affirmations of peace and justice and nuclear disarmament, and keep that as part of your mindfulness as we breathe in love and we breathe out peace. We breathe in love and we breathe out peace. We breathe in love and we breathe out peace. And we open our hearts with open hearts and open minds and open hands and welcome these beautiful peace walkers, these carriers of the dream wheel, these vision seekers that have a collective vision, these wild women for peace. We welcome them into our community of Johnson County, Iowa City, River City, West Branch, Scattergood, the entire state of mind of Iowa welcomes all of these great peace marchers in with the deepest heart and grace, and actually with reverence, with a gratitude for having the vision to walk for 9 months. 3,700 miles these people walked for global nuclear disarmament. 9 months, just about the same time as it takes for the gestation of a baby, a human baby, a new human being. Aho. And that is the seed that they sowed 30 years ago. And with the announcement of Diablo Canyon ending yesterday, at the beginning of that walk 30 years ago, right there in Santa Monica, not far from Santa Monica was Diablo Canyon, the circle goes to a higher level on the evolutionary spiral, the beginning of the end of the nuclear age, as in the form of nukes, nuclear power plants. This is another beginning of the evolutionary spiral. That is revolution, dear friends. These revolutionaries, with a heart song and a message and a vision, these seekers of the wisdom, seekers of vision, keepers of the flame, carriers of the dream wheel, are in our midst. Let's celebrate them as kindred spirit and welcome them in as they truly belong to the highest good, the highest purpose. Everyone on this peace march, the Great Peace March for Global Nuclear Disarmament, the entire Peace March was nominated for the Nobel Peace Prize in 1987. So in their own way, each one of these is a Nobel Peace Prize nominee. And as you say, these people are the true recipients of the Nobel Peace Prize. Yes, they walk with that courage and that golden courage of the heart. Courage means the heart. Quer is heart is the center of courage. Quer is French for heart. So when you say courage, that means the people of the heart. So these people had the heart on their Golden Trek journey, and it wasn't an easy journey. So welcome everyone to Iowa City. So that's some of the announcements, and there is that reconnecting principle, right? That a-causal connecting principle. We could call it synchronicity, where the people are arriving next Tuesday, which would be the time of this viewing of GreenFire, and the announcement of the end of the Diablo Canyon nuclear power plant in Diablo Canyon That's not an accident. It's only a coincidence, right? Is that a coincidence? I think people have worked hard, and it's people of similar ilk, kindred spirits who have created the possibility for the cessation of that form of suffering, the cessation of the nuclear form of suffering in Southern California. And these people have created their own medicine wheel of sweet medicine to transcend the death spiral of nuclear power plant at Diablo Canyon, which is entropy, which is the law of death, and they've replaced it with regeneration of sustainable energy, which is syntropy, which is the law of life. They've transcended entropy, which is the second law of thermodynamics, with syntropy, which is the law of life, organized and supporting life energy. So these people are scientists who've removed and transcended their own gulag into a rainbow bridge into life, the light of life and radiance of renewable energy. So they're renewing the energy for all of us here too. Because remember, people, we have a nuclear power plant at Palo, and there are 2 nuclear power plants out on the Missouri River, just upstream from Council Bluffs in Omaha, on the Missouri River, just across, but they're still part of Iowa across the Missouri River. They're in Nebraska, but really part of Iowa. So we have gotten rid of 2 at Quad Cities at Cordova. That's good news. So in the last, say, month, we've gotten rid of 2 nuke plants at Cordova, which is Quad Cities. Same design as the Fukushima GE Daiichi nuke power plant. Another one in Illinois. So that's 3. We have to get rid of the Palo one right here. That is a sarcophagus on the bosom of the fair, beautiful land of Iowa, plus 2 on the Missouri River, just on the boundary of Iowa. That's 3 to go, but we've gotten 2 plus the 2 at Diablo Canyon. That means 5 nuclear power plants have gone down in the last month, based on economics alone. So we have much to celebrate on the summer solstice. So this is, again, we're talking about emptying out, which is kenosis. We're emptying out the old script, the old power play and all that, nuclear power, and who's paying for it? The 7th generation yet to come. Well, yeah, we're emptying out that script. And it's called openness mind, which is filling ourselves up with regeneration tools, which is sustainable and renewable, solar and wind. Remember, people, Iowa lives a schizophrenic reality. It's the second in the country for wind power. In other words, Iowa leads the country pretty much in wind power, if not already a second in the country, and yet it has 3 nuclear power plants. That's a schizophrenic, and the trimorphic. Well, the triple form schizophrenia is they're starting a Bakken pipeline with that crude shale, and that's a 3rd form of dementia of this, the 2nd form of dementia in this schizophrenia. And once you know, the American Psychological or the British Psychiatric Association is totally disbanding or dropping the label of schizophrenia altogether. So that's triple schizophrenia. That's dementia. So Iowa has a long way to go. One of the leading lights is that we have wind power, and that's a good thing. And that wind power is lower in price than the nuclear power being pumped out of here by this dinosaur up here at Palo, just north of Cedar Rapids, 8 miles out. That's only 25 miles from Iowa City. So think about that. Do you want a oil shale pipeline called the Bakken? Even the language, Bakken, doesn't it sound like backed up? It sounds very ugly, low level, somewhere lowest denominator, even below that, because once if ever that gets in the soil, that water table of these farmers in that area are going to be seriously eroded. It's not just, private. This is going to affect you, the farmers, and the future of the land and the water in this beautiful state. So people, stand up, have a backbone, and shut down the Bakken pipeline. That's first order of the day. Second is to get rid of this nuclear power plant. Economics looks like it's going to be the one that's going to evolve into the shutting down of both of those. Because remember, King Kong is not only nuclear power, it's coal, oil, nuclear, and gas. So that gas is King Kong too. That Bakken is part of King Kong. So you have some work to do here in the heartland, people. So do your research, find how you can plug in, and sit down and shut it down. And that's whoever who is the spirit that moves, do that. And each one of us can do something. So that's another part of the announcement. The orange juice tastes great on this beautiful, flowery summer eve. Now we'll get into, I believe this is part of the announcements, but we wanted to take a little extra time to unpack these announcements to see how they fit into our own lives, our relatives, our kindred spirits, those we care about, and those that we are not aware of who are coming into the festival of lights called summer solstice. Another announcement, the Rainbow Gathering is going to be in Vermont. Isn't that interesting? It's going to be Bernie's home state, and that will be July 4th, but people are gathering now. It's actually the week of July 1st to the July 7th. And in July 4th, there's about 10 to 20,000 people will gather in the morning and will be in silent circle of probably 10,000 people in a circle in a high mountain meadow in the Green Mountains of Vermont in silence, in a silent Om for planetary peace. And that planetary peace will go until noon on the 4th of July. And that will be then the people will break out into dancing and festival and food sharing. Well, that'd be one of the greatest planetary Oms for peace event anywhere on planet Earth. So I invite people to come together for this gathering this weekend at Johnson County Fairground, and others come together and let's just have a rainbow gathering of our own here in Iowa. It's about time we all had a gathering, and I know we can all celebrate the joy of one another's presence. So this is for the rainbow gathering. Is it rainbow orchids of the flowers of the family of rainbow family of living light? This is a beautiful name, the Rainbow Family of Living Light. And that you could say, okay, that means living light, traveling light, living light. But it's a deeper alchemy here. Family of living light. These people live in the light. They walk in the light. They have the light in their eyes. And when they greet one another, they say, welcome home. They've left Babylon behind for 2 to 3 weeks, living up in the national forest in different kitchens where no dead presidents exist. Dead presidents are dollar bills. People share their food. There's 30 different restaurants. There's drumming circles night and day. There's fire circles, and people just share the joy of each other, of one another's journey for that entire solstice powwow that's going to the sun. It's basically going to the sun trail, dance, and everybody is dancing at one level or another. We have all kinds of kitchens. So let's have one here in Iowa. It's about time that we all come together. So in that sense, another announcement. We have the green light for all forms of drugs, basically for healing. And that means not to punish people who are addicted and not to criminalize it anymore. And so now we're moving into another phase of this summer solstice gathering here. And this is again dedicated to those people who are coming in from all four directions for the Great Peace March 30th reunion. So what we'll do here is a piece that was just written. And first we'll do summer solstice, because we just think that summer solstice is a high energy time. So there is a deliciousness in reaching the peak light of summer solstice, dear friend. The longest day, the birds are blossoming into nestlings and new flight. The vegetables and berries are singing a swelling chorus of fleshiness and juice. The sun itself is so fragrant and rich. We swoon in its fire. Yes, yes, we know this is the moment of letting go, of turning toward the dark. But why spoil the party with all that seriousness? Consider that the wheel of the year unfolds into many more dimensions than this, that we are not just rolling forward on this one earth plane around the cycle of light and dark. If we move the house of our consciousness, built on habit and belief, out to the unknown, so our new home is the whole universe. So our new home is the whole universe. Amazing things can happen. We discover radiance everywhere. We begin to see that you and I, all of us, are patterns stored in light. Suddenly it's obvious the dark is what we need to contain so much beauty, to hold our wildly tender open hearts. Consider that the wheel of the year unfolds into many more dimensions than this, dear friend. That we are not just rolling forward on this one earth plane around the cycle of light and dark. If we move the house of our consciousness, built on habit and belief, out to the unknown, so our new home is the whole universe, amazing things can happen, dear friend. We discover radiance everywhere. We begin to see that you and I, all of us, are patterns stored in light. Whoa! Suddenly it's obvious the dark is what we need to contain so much beauty, to hold our wildly tender open hearts. This is summer solstice, when there is a deliciousness in reaching the peak light, the longest day. So we will move and continue on in this spirit with kenosis, openness, mind, emptiness, emptying winds. Dear friend, this is a time of emptying out. This is a time of slowing down time. This is a time of slowing down time. This is a time of slowing down mind. Unfurl the close encounters of loving kindness, dear friend. This is a time of Mariah wind, blowing slowly across Kanza, slowly across the Smoky Hill country, stepping down the Flint Hill country, from the high plains drifter tumbleweeds rolling, across the 100th meridian, beyond cognitive Kansas, into Dorothy's heart of the dream, slowing down time into windmills of consciousness, slowly turning inside a receiving mind, inside a generator of dimensions, keeping the wheel in spin, dear friend, keeping the wheel in spin, keeping the wheel in spin, just east of Whirlwind Dancer, just east of Whirlwind Dancer, spinning on yonder Earthboy 40. This is the nexus of this breath, dear friend. This is the nexus of this breath, dear friend. The interface of a deeper being, of yourself. The interface of a deeper being of yourself. This is where you receive with openness mind. I receive, I receive, I receive, I receive with openness mind. Breathe in love, breathe out peace. Breathe in love, breathe out peace. Breathe in love, breathe out peace. The next vision on the next turning of the dream wheel sings, slow down and breathe this in, dear friend. This is not man apart. This is all one heart. And we are all beating together, planet drum. And we are all breathing together at the full moon of this summer solstice. This is where we slow down time, dear friend. Dear friend, this is where we slow down time, dear friend. This is where we slow down time, dear friend. This is where Helios in his summer steed stands still for a fortnight, riding high on the summer wind. This is where Helios in his summer steed stands still for a fortnight, dear friend, riding high on the summer wind. This is where Helios in his summer steed stands still for a fortnight, riding high on the summer wind. We are Wombly flying high. We are Eagle flying high as we set the controls for the heart of the sun. We are Wombly. We are Eagle flying high as we set the controls for the heart of the sun. The ceremony of renewal, regeneration, restoration, re-inhabitory, remembering. Here where we gather for the angels, here where we gather for the angels to mend their wings. Here we gather for the angels to mend their wings. Here at this gathering, we gather for the angels to mend their wings on glimmerings of morning as we roll away the dew in our rollright stones. This is the ceremony of renewal, regeneration, restoration, re-inhabitory, remembering, dear friend. Here where we gather for the angels to mend their wings on glimmerings of morning as we roll away the dew in our rollright stones. In our rollright stones, in cairn prayers at the solar wheel, we establish our inner Stonehenge. Dear friend, we now take our place upon the great mandorla, carriers of the dream wheel, turning, 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 spinning, 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 spinning into 144,000 spinning dreamer wheels, dancing, 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 dancing. Here in the standstill place of time, here in the standstill place of time, here in the standstill place of time, into the sweet medicine wheel, the keepers of time dancing through the Zavuya of Hunabku, singing, who am I? Human I am, human I am, human I am. through the kenosis of open mind and the emptying winds of an openness mind. Aho. So we're going to unpack this just a little bit so we can understand. Let's the summer solstice. Solstice means the sun stands still. Solstice means the sun stands still. And so the sun is standing still for a fortnight. What this means is the sun is standing still. That's where we slow down time, we slow down our mind. We literally remember ourselves. There's a standstill here. And a fortnight is 2 weeks. That is like the 20th is summer solstice, and 2 weeks is like July 4th. So that fortnight, the sun is literally standing still. There's a standstill where we all stop and we remember and we reweave ourselves with our kindred folk and others. Time of celebration and celebration. The medicine wheel is that year, the seasonal wheel. That's the wheel that goes around for the entire year. Summer, fall, winter, spring. That's the seasonal wheel. That's known as the medicine wheel. North, south, east, and west. Sweet medicine is the medicine of life. That centropy, that's the law of life. That's a good medicine. Zavuya is a Mayan term for this wave of consciousness that is like a ribbon running through the heart of the Milky Way. Feel this ribbon running through the heart of the Milky Way of high summer. That's the Zavuya, surfers of the Zavuya wave. Hunab Ku is like the center of the Milky Way. Hunab Ku is the center of the Milky Way in the Mayan cosmology. The center of the Milky Way, Hunab Ku. All right, so this is the surfers, the Zavuya wave is riding this wave to the Hunab Ku. Also, Hu is the root form of the sound of a human being. So when you say Hu, H-U, Hu, you say that enough, it's like a mantra that has radiance that releases energy inside your internal medicine wheel. So Hu, H-U, Hunab Ku. You see that human built in there, Hunabku. Hunab. And so when we say who am I? Who am I? That's the Hu. We're saying I am that I am. That's the Yeshua. I am that I am. Hu am I. Human I am. The kenosis is a chirotic term of Greek origin of medicine of the mystery schools. And kenosis is Greek. It means emptying out. So we're emptying out the old year. As time stands still for a fortnight, the solstice means the sun stands still. So for a fortnight, the sun is standing still. So there's an emptying out of the old and the beginning of the new. That's the standstill. We're receiving. We're receiving. I receive. I breathe in love. I breathe out peace. I receive. I receive. I receive. That's the feather on the breath of the divine. I receive. I receive. I receive. Breathe this in. I receive. I receive. I breathe in love. Breathe out peace. I receive. I receive. I receive. Breathe in love. Breathe out peace. I receive. I receive. I receive. Breathe in love. Breathe out peace. I receive. I receive. I receive. It's a softening time. Where the sun is standing still, so are we. We're receiving. So this is the kenosis, which means emptying out. That's emptying out. So that creates an openness mind, right? An openness mind is where we want to be. It's another beginner's mind. So this is openness mind. It's beginner's mind. And that is the emptying winds. So at the beginning here of this piece, kenosis, openness mind, emptying minds, there are a couple of geographic terms. Kansa is more of the sacred name for Kansas. Kansa is Native American for the sacred land of Kansas, Kansa. But it's also where Dorothy, Wizard of Oz, leaves cognitive Kansas and goes on the yellow brick road and sees all the little munchkins along the way, and she arrives at cosmic Oz. So you get that flow of the breathing of the language there from cognitive Kansas to cosmic Oz. In the heart of that is Kansa. You feel that? K-O-N-Z, Kansa. So this is a new language, Kansa. All right, it's the heart of the yellow brick road of Dorothy's heart singing. And so the Smoky Hill country is one of the great land formations, geological formations. Smoky Hill country is also a river in Kansas, and also the Flint Hill country. So these are different countries in Kansas as you go across the Smoky Hill country in Kansas. So the high plains are, when you get out of the prairie, you go into the Great Plains of Kansas, and then you cross over the Flint Hill country and the Smoky Hill country, and then in western Kansas you travel past the 100th meridian into what is called the high plains of western Kansas. You're getting more toward the Rocky Mountains. So once you pass the 100th meridian, you're into a whole nother geographical and geological time print. That's the 100th meridian, and that's the place of the high plains. So you're going from prairie to the Great Plains to the high plains. You're moving that way. And then image that the wind is moving east. So we're moving east with the wind. And out there the wind is called Mariah. So there's like a mythic image, mystery, whispering through the heart of this song here. So if you feel the heart of this song of the Mariah wind with its rolling, tumbling tumbleweeds. So this goes from country swing, western swing, into Native American, back into more of the Midwestern, and back into the spirit of the wind song itself. So when it says emptying winds, this will begin again here. The emptying winds, kenosis. That means we're opening out. We're emptying out, right? Emptying out, kenosis. We're emptying out. Openness mind. This creates our mind being open through emptying winds. Dear friend, this is a time of emptying out. This is a time of slowing down time. Slowing down time. This is a time of slowing down mind. Unfurl close encounters of loving kindness, dear friend. This is a time of Mariah wind, dear friend. Our dear friend Mariah wind. This is a time of Mariah wind, blowing slowly across Kansa, slowly across the Smoky Hill country, slowly across the Smoky Hill country, stepping down into the Flint Hill country, stepping down into the Flint Hill country, from the high plains drifter, tumbleweeds rolling across the 100th meridian, dear friend. Slowly across the Smoky Hill country, stepping down the Flint Hill country, from the high plains drifter, tumbleweeds rolling across the 100th meridian, beyond cognitive Kansas, into Dorothy's heart of the dream, dear friend. Slowing down time into windmills of consciousness. Slowing down time into windmills of consciousness. Slowly turning inside a receiving mind, inside a generator of dimensions, keeping the wheel in spin. Remember Dorothy's uncle out there and the tornadoes coming in? slowly turning inside a receiving mind, inside a generator of dimensions. Remember that wheel out there? Remember that turning wheel that the tornado's coming in? But remember her uncle there at the windmill? Slowly turning inside a receiving mind, inside a generator of dimensions, the windmill, keeping the wheel in spin just east of Whirlwind Dancer, spinning on yonder Earth Boy 40. This is the nexus of this breath, the interface of a deeper being of yourself. This is where you receive, dear friend, with openness mind, the next vision on the next turning of the dream wheel. Slow down and breathe this in, dear friend. This is not man apart. This is all one heart. And we are all beating together the planet drum, and we are all breathing together at the full moon of this summer solstice. This is where we slow down time, dear friend. This is where we slow down time. This is where Helios on his summer steed stands still for a fortnight, riding high on the summer wind. We are wombly eagles flying high. We are eagles flying high. As we set the controls for the heart of the sun, the ceremony of renewal, regeneration, restoration, re-inhabitory time, re-inhabiting our time, and remembering and reweaving our social fabric, here we gather for the angels to mend their wings on glimmerings of morning as we roll away the dew in our rollright stones in cairn prayers in cairn prayers at the solar wheel, in our rollright stones in cairn prayers at the solar wheel. Dear friend, we now take our place upon the great mandorla, carriers of the dream wheel, turning, 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 spinning, spinning, spinning into 144,000 spinning dreamer wheels, dancing and dancing and dancing here in the standstill place of time, into the sweet medicine wheel, the keepers of time dancing through the Zavuya of Hunabku, singing, who am I? Who am I? Who am I? Human I am, human I am, human I am. Through kenosis, openness mind, emptying the winds. Aho. So this is the rollright stone of the summer solstice, dear friend. And may you receive, breathe in peace, breathe out love, breathe in peace, breathe out love. Breathe in peace and breathe out love. And at this receiving time, may you receive what is yours to receive in the higher nature of things, and let us all celebrate this summer solstice in one form or another. Remember, all of our hearts are beating together in one planet drum. Thank you, and happy summer solstice. Peace.